Your tax BFF did something a little different this week. I really wanted to put on your hearts and in your minds how to prepare in the event of your untimely death. We're talking about getting your affairs in order. And we're also talking about how IRS debt does not die with you. So check it out, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be talking more about how we can let tax laws benefit us. So it has been very hard to smile, laugh, tell a client I'm good, whatever, ever, since hearing about the passing of my good friend. But I wanted to take this time, something that has happened since Mel passed is a reality check. One of the most enlightening pieces of death is really taking into account what your life is about, what your purpose is, what are you doing here? And one of the things that I really have focused on since getting that crazy call is that Mel was one of my most put together friends. She had her affairs in order. She had her stuff tight. She had her assets, she had small businesses. She was, helping a lot of people with their small businesses. And today I was like, let me just take out a minute because I've been reflecting a lot. I've been doing a number of things, just trying to make sure that I'm living on purpose and that what I share with you all are things that have actually benefited myself and I've seen them benefit others. So a lot of what we talk about on here and a lot of things that I share on here, of course, are tax tips. They're ways to get you informed on the very basic level of getting your stuff together. So it's been I don't know if the algorithm is targeting me because I'm in mourning, but I've been seeing a lot of death and a lot of RIPs and a lot of unexpected, just accidental, crazy deaths. And so not to be morbid, but I want to talk about it because planning to have your affairs in order for your family, planning to have your assets protected and taken care of is not planning to die. And a lot of people, I think, don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about a living will and testament. They don't want to talk about, who's going to get what when I die, because that's like projecting or planning to not be here. Listen, if nothing else came out of her passing, life is unexpected. Forever is not one of his promises, okay? And things happen. So I just kind of want to talk to you a little bit about one of the biggest things that reflects on my actual field of interest, taxes, and what will benefit you in getting your stuff together. Number one, tax debt. It don't die when you die. There are some debts that the debtor is excused from after they pass. Taxes is not one of them. If you have any assets, any money in your account, anything that the IRS can get their hands on at your passing, they will get their hands on that prior to your family ever being able to touch it. So I just want y'all to know that. So wages, Social Security benefits, pensions, like I said, bank accounts, especially any properties, all of those are things that can be seized by the IRS. So if you're grinding like I am for your family, to put your family in a better position, to build generational wealth, to make sure that your kids don't have student loan debt and things of that nature, if you're doing it like I am, and if you're in business like I am for those reasons, then you got a couple dollars in the bank. You got some assets. You own some properties. You got some stocks and some investments. You have the things that the IRS can seize and levy to pay off your tax lien. Going into tax debt is not something you want to do, which is why I so often talk about tax planning. So top 3 things that everybody needs, okay? And this is at any income level. Because I know some people are like, I don't know if you deal with people on my level, or I know I don't make that much money yet, so I don't know if I should be booking a consultation with you until I get to that level. Well, I'm talking to everyone. At any income level, you gotta have some type of term life insurance. And again, I'm the tax and accounting guru. I ain't selling you no life insurance, but I'm telling you to go find somebody that is, okay? Term life insurance is just saying that this amount of time I am paying into this. In the event that I die, I'll have these benefits. It is the cheapest option, and it could, listen, $10 a month can have your family set up where they can take care of your funeral costs and make sure that your bills and everything are in order. Now, for me, I want to make sure that my family can live without my income. So that means that my insurance is going to cover not only the cost of any bills that we have, but also the cost of continuing the lifestyle that my income brings in. So as my income increases, so has my term life insurance. I would say do the same. Okay. Now, going into the other whole and universal and, the life insurance that you could pull out of tax free, that was very enticing to me when I first started business. I was like, ooh, some money will be building into this account that I can eventually pull out tax free. That sounded amazing. However, I then started to get more into investments, started seeing that if I put $100 over here into these stocks and let that sit for 10 years, and even if I do have to pay capital gains taxes on it when I do pull it, it still is gaining more interest and more money over there than it was in that whole life insurance policy. You absolutely need to be looking at this with your financial advisors or your fiduciaries to make sure that you're making the proper decisions on where you should be putting your money, especially at different income levels. Okay, so again, number 1, right off the bat, life insurance. And this isn't a knock to the people who are setting up GoFundMes, because when someone loses a parent, even if the life insurance covers the cost of the funeral and all that good stuff, they still have to maintain the life that that person was providing for them. I'm all for it. Sign them up. Some tragedy happens, go fund that person, okay? But I'm not about that GoFundMe for your funeral costs. Like, if I'm sliding a couple dollars into that GoFundMe, it is for your children to continue to live a great life. It is to sow seeds into them so that they can get through this grief in that moment in time, not to give you your most lavish funeral. Okay, I digress. Number 2, you have to have some type of will, trust, living will and testament, some advance directive, like what happens to you if you get into a vegetative state? What happens to your business if you die suddenly? All of these things are things that we need to be talking about right now. Again, I'm the tax and accounting guru. That is an attorney's job, but it is so well worth it. If you are starting to generate income of any level, it is time to make sure that you not only are communicating with your family what you want in the event of your death, but you're also communicating with the proper channels to know what to do with your money, how to run your business, who's going to get your children, what school you want them to go to. You can break this thing down. For instance, right now, saying I'm going to leave tax team to Cass. What? He's 4, okay? Who's going to do y'all taxes? Who's going to continue with our monthly retainer clients? Who's going to take over that stuff? That's something that is going to be outlined for me. And just so you know, and this is still my basic understanding of what a trust is, but a trust is, it determines what happens with your money and how your assets are managed after death. Okay? So you're letting this vehicle, this protection agency hover over all of your assets, and you're letting them know what to do with it in the event that you can't make the decision at that point in time. So you are saying, I want this person to run the business. I want this person to own the business. I want profits to be split this way. I want this to be sold in order to pay off this debt. You are saying that right now while you in sound mind, good health, and are still building wealth, you're getting it laid out and legally and in a protected way. Okay. A lot of you, especially my real estate owners, you've heard about trust and you've been trying to figure out if you should get one and all of that good stuff. But I'm saying any person with some assets, any person with a business should be looking into what those final arrangements of protecting your assets and distributing them looks like. And then 3, 0 tax debt. Okay, so some of you are like, oh, dang, I messed up. I just finished my taxes. I owe this amount of money. Get it off. Get it off. Get it off your backs right now. So the IRS will typically allow for an automatic 72-month installment agreement for your tax debt, right? And that's super beneficial. You can divide your tax debt by 72, see what the lowest amount of payment is, and they will more than likely accept it if you don't have previous tax debt, and this is the only installment agreement you have right now. Do you know what that means? If you have $10,000, right, in tax debt, which a lot of you do because you didn't pay no estimated taxes and you kind of made a little bit of money, that will equate to just about a 19-20% interest rate on your credit card. Okay? In 5 years, you will pay the IRS about just under $4,500 in interest. Huh? The taxes withheld from your W-2 positions are just that. They're out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. We don't pay them attention. We just pay them. For business owners, you are responsible for making those payments. You are responsible for calculating what your net profit is after all of your expenses and making a payment that determines what you will owe for the duration of that annual or calendar year. Meaning we're at the beginning of Q2, and we should have paid or be in the process of paying by the 18th your estimated tax payments. If you are like, I just finished paying off 2022 taxes with my tax return, and I just got to recoup my money and get myself together. I get it. I do. However, it is your legal obligation with a penalty assessed with it if you do not pay those estimated taxes during the time that you're making that money. So if you are grossing, any type of money with your business and you have not taken a look at your net profit to see what your projected income for the year would be, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Getting your stuff in line before you are in a position of, I have to sell my business, but now I have to evaluate what this tax debt does. Or I have lost my life suddenly, and now my family is trying to figure out how to pay on something that I could have paid 10 times over in life. Don't do it. So it's 3 things that overall we have to get in order as a community, as young people, as people that are 100% certain that we will not live forever. We got to get our affairs in order today. And again, as the tax and accounting guru, I would be remiss if I did not tell you how that tax debt follows you, follows your assets, will tap into that estate before your family ever sees it. So, right now, you're thinking about it, you've thought about it, you've had these ideas, you may have lost someone like I did, you don't know where to start. Couple things. 1, you have to have some investments, right? you need to be talking to a fiduciary. This person is paid only when you get your money. So they are legally obligated to protect you and give you beneficial advice for your investments based on what's best for you. Other people may be selling you products that their company has. They may not be telling you about the hidden costs in your 401k. It's so many different things that can be happening. And you want to make sure that when you're putting your money into someone else's hands, you're allowing them to work on your behalf only. Not trying to get, bonuses at their company or sell the most product or whatever. You want them working on your behalf. 2, when you're setting up your trust, when you're setting up your living will, when you're setting these things up, you need to be talking with an attorney. Don't you legal Zoom it. Do not go on there trying to do it yourself. I was the queen of doing all of the legal documents myself when I first started my business. I done wrote contracts, did trademarks, all that stuff. Not anymore. Okay? You want to make sure that legally binding agreement is solid. It is set. It is something that will hold up in court. It is something that your family will not have to think twice about. They will know exactly what your directives are with everything in your businesses, with your assets, with your children. And then you also want to make sure that you're tax planning in advance so that any tax liability assessed on your income, you take care of it. So, got a little emotional there, but in my grieving moment, I have really thought a lot about my purpose. I've thought a lot about how sharing this information with all of you is a part of my ministry, and I'm happy to do it. I love it, and this was something that was really heavy on my heart, and I just want to shout out to Mel for having their stuff in order and being able to show me some things as a peer to be like, hey, you got this in order because this can happen. And I appreciate it and I love it. And it's just one of the many things that I've learned from her. And I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you all and got your wheels turning on what you can do to make sure that you're set up for whatever. All right, guys, it's tax season. It is the end, too. And I already took a day off yesterday, so I'm going back to getting some work done. Love you all. Have a great day. I hope this was helpful.